Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to build a dream from the ground up. We're going to walk through the entire journey of creating a custom home, from a simple patch of empty land to that incredible moment you hold the keys in your hand.
There really is something incredibly compelling about that, isn't there? The whole idea of a home designed just for you, for your family, on a piece of land that you chose yourself. But let's be real. That powerful idea can feel, well, pretty overwhelming if you don't have the right guide for the journey.
So that's what we're here for. Let's get started. Think of this as your roadmap. We're going to cover every single critical step so you can navigate the path from raw land to a finished, move-in ready home with a lot more confidence.
Our journey begins way before any dirt gets moved. This is the pre-construction phase, and I can't stress this enough. This is where the success of your entire project is decided. Getting this part right is what saves you from huge, expensive headaches down the road.
And it all boils down to this one fundamental question. You found the perfect spot. It's beautiful, but can you actually build on it? Skipping the deep dive to answer this question is the single biggest, most expensive mistake you can possibly make. So let's look at what a real feasibility study involves. Okay, so this checklist really breaks down into three key areas. First, you got the legal stuff. Zoning laws tell you if you can even build a house there, and covenants are basically private neighborhood rules about size or style. Next, the land itself. Is it a super steep slope? Is the soil stable enough for a foundation? And finally, the practical stuff. How far away are power lines and water mains? Because believe me, extending utilities can get crazy expensive, so you need to know that up front.
Now let's zoom in on a term you absolutely have to know: the perk test. If your property can't connect to a city sewer system, this test is a non-negotiable deal breaker. It tests whether the soil can safely handle wastewater from a septic system. A failed perk test can make an otherwise perfect piece of land completely unbuildable. It is that critical.
Okay, so your land passed the test. It's buildable. Awesome. Now, it's time to assemble your A-team. Because you just can't build a house by yourself. And the quality of your finished home is a direct reflection of the pros you hire to help you. So here's your core team. The most important person you're going to hire is your builder or general contractor. Think of them as the captain of the ship, the project manager for everything. A really good builder will have a whole network of trusted pros they can bring in, from the designer who draws up your blueprints to the surveyor who maps out the land.
Financing a new build is also a totally different animal. You don't just get a standard mortgage. Instead, you're going to use a short-term construction loan. And here's the key difference. The bank releases the money in stages, or draws, as different parts of the work get finished. Then once the house is complete, that short-term loan converts into a regular, long-term mortgage.
Now, for one of the most crucial financial tips I can give you, a contingency fund. You have got to plan on setting aside an extra 10 to 15% of the total project cost. This isn't just what-if money, it's an essential buffer for the unexpected. And trust me, the unexpected will happen. When you hit solid rock digging the foundation or the price of lumber suddenly spikes, this fund is what turns a potential disaster into just a manageable problem.
All right, you've got your team and your finances all lined up. Now we move into the design and permitting phase. This is where your vision really starts to feel real as we translate all those ideas and dreams into legally approved blueprints.
This is the stage where you lock in every single detail on paper. You, your designer, your builder, you all finalize the blueprints, right down to the last doorknob. And why is this so critical? Because changing a line on a piece of paper is easy and cheap. Trying to move a wall after it's already been built? Yeah, that gets expensive fast.
With your final plans in hand, you need one last piece of permission before you can legally start digging: the building permit. Your builder submits your blueprints to the local authorities, and they check everything to make sure it all meets current safety codes. It's not just red tape, it's for your safety. And once you have that permit, it's the official green light. Game on.
And with that permit approved, we finally enter the most exciting phase: construction. All that planning, all that paperwork, it all pays off right here as you get to watch your vision physically take shape, rising from the ground piece by piece.
You know, construction follows a very logical sequence. It all starts with prepping the site and pouring that big concrete foundation. Then, the skeleton of the house goes up during framing. Once the roof and windows are in, a stage called drying in, which basically makes it weatherproof, then the really crucial systems like plumbing, electrical, and HVAC get installed. From there, it's on to insulation, drywall, and then all the fun stuff, the finishes that really turn a structure into your home.
You are so close. The finish line is in sight. The house is built, but you're not quite done. These last few steps are all about quality control and wrapping up all the legal and financial paperwork before you finally get those keys.
So after a final inspection from a local official, you'll get this, a certificate of occupancy, or a CO. This is probably the single most important document you'll get at the end. It's the government's official stamp of approval saying your home is safe, and without it, you can't legally move in or finalize your mortgage, period.
Just before you close, you'll join your builder for one last walkthrough. This is your chance to create what's called a punch list, and it's basically a detailed list of any little imperfections you can find, from a paint scuff on the wall to a cabinet door that's a little sticky. Your builder is then responsible for fixing every single item on that list to your satisfaction before you sign anything. And finally, it's time to close. You'll meet with your lender and a closing agent, sign what feels like a mountain of documents, and that officially converts your construction loan into your permanent mortgage. And once that ink is dry, the house and the land are all yours.
So when you look back at everything, you'll realize you've done way more than just build a house. By following this methodical path, all the way from checking the soil to signing those final papers, you've navigated a pretty complex journey to turn a totally personal vision into a physical reality.
Look, the process is detailed, for sure, but it doesn't have to be intimidating. With a clear map like this and the right team by your side, building a custom home is an absolutely manageable and, honestly, a profoundly rewarding journey. Your land has a story just waiting to be told. The only question left is, are you ready to build it?